Hi, my name is Justin Larson, and I'm going to be going over the different changes that I made this sprint to help bring our project to content completion. This project's for Precious Cobbler, and our game is called Ghost Core. Now, the first thing that I did, the biggest part of my work was redoing the UI elements for the main menu. The main things that I worked on was the option menu and the help and how to play that needed to be updated. So with that, we're going to open up version 0.31 and go from there. So going back and talking about the option menu, there was a lot of overlaps and the volume controls didn't quite work the way they needed to be working. Helping how to play also needed to be heavily updated um, in case the player at any point in time got lost. So here we have our menu. You can see here that you got your start game, level select, how to play, so on and so forth. You redid the way the background looked a little bit, so the image looked a little bit less stretched and whatnot. Um, so game level select has our three different levels that we have, as well as balancing levels, levels that were made that aren't in the game anymore, our prototyping levels, and going back, you can see that we have testing levels as well. Um, so how to play. We have our controls, a little bit of a plot line to kind of give the player idea of what's going on, and then different tutorials for the different mechanics in the game in case the tutorials kind of fail to stick, and maybe the player forgets what's going on or something like that. So they'll be able to access this from the gameplay menu as well. So options, we got our master volume. As you can hear, it affects both sound effects and music. Music individually is affected, and sound effects is affected individually. And now we can set this configuration. You can see it saves the configuration like so. Here are our credits for everyone that contributed to the game. So now we're going to go start the game so you can see the pause menu being demonstrated. So again, you have your options, and you can hear that the sound effects and all of that stuff was changed and saved and stayed persistent through the levels. And you can see that how to play, it's fully accessible from the options menu, and you can get right back into resuming gameplay. All right, so let's quit back to main menu. Um, Main reason is because not just also to show that the changes to get back to the main menu still work, but also because we want to head to the asteroid level so I can talk about my next bug, which is helmet comes off on conveyor belts. So that was a funny little bug, as you can see here, when the player would jump down onto a conveyor belt, his helmet would come off and run down the conveyor belt. Um, and I had to fix that. And basically, what had happened was there was a random widget that was attached to the back of the helmet that wasn't visible. So, but as you can see here, that bug does not happen anymore. All right. So the next thing was my night vision component. So night vision before, where is this at? Oh, no. Oh wait, here we go. I thought I closed it for a moment. Here we go. So night vision That was kind of something added a little bit later, but that I wound up putting on because unpossessing ghosts from player death, we wound up nixing that. We don't need to actually fix that because we got rid of respawn points. So we don't really need that whole unpossessing ghosts upon player death piece. So night vision, low light. We need to find low light level that was barely visible to the eye, but strong enough for night vision. So that's kind of what we did here. We attached a flashlight to the night vision and went from that. Um, Also, in that, I have also added security beams to the visor as well. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is our it was our sanity frequency here. So after showing off how the night vision works a little bit better in these different areas, I'm going to go bring you over to the first ghost so we can demonstrate the sanity effects. Because that was my next piece, was to get that balanced out. Let's get rid of that guy, causing problems in my demonstration here. And let's go get this ghost to show up. There he is. Alright, so we need to drain our sanity. Alright. So basically, before sanity events were a little bit random once you got below 50% of sanity.
Warning, low sanity.
But now that I'm at 50%,
Warning, low oxygen.
you already get an event, which is nice. But those footsteps and things like that that you hear, that's one of the sanity events. It's just kind of help add to the paranoia a little bit. So when I bring this down a little bit further, below 30%, ooh, I hope I did not do that too far. I think that might bring other sanity effects. This low, I believe it may bring about more than just the footsteps. Essentially, we wanted to increase the intensity of the effect. So all of the screaming effects don't really happen until much later. But it sounds like we're still getting footsteps. And the way it works is more get unlocked, but you can still have the lower intensity ones happen. And it sounds like the footsteps are the only ones doing it. I want to demonstrate a different one showing up. Because that was the main deal behind that. Still got a lot of footsteps going on. Okay. Sounds like footsteps died off. Let's see about something up. There we go. There's another one. All right. That one should happen when sanity's below 30. I think this, if I wind up losing more sanity, all of them are going to be visible at that percentage. Okay, let's see. Definitely should get a third one at this point, but it may wind up being something less intense. So essentially, I have like a sanity tree. So I have a lower intensity, moderate intensity, uh, intense, and extremely intense. Extremely intense is a jump scare with a ghost that'll jump up in your face and scream in your face. But I need to get another one. You don't want them to happen too frequently, otherwise they'll just completely disrupt the play of the game. That was the other thing, the other reason why I did this, because I felt sanity events were happening frequent enough, just they were a little too intense starting off. And I just died.
Unable to revive. Pilot
Well, I
JL
think I got the
received.
gist of it with that with that main one. So, um, but you did see how I went from having a lower intensity to when I got a bit more insane, that I wound up having more special effects start occurring. So that's pretty much what I contributed on this last little bit. I also helped with guiding here and there. I helped out other teammates on their different issues and projects as well. So, but yeah, I'd say we did pretty well and worked together as a team. All right. Well, that should conclude it for this video. Thank you for, well, no, not this video. I'm sorry. I shall pass you on over to the next person.
Mayday, Mayday. Pilot unresponsive. Ship out of control. Prepare for crash landing. Warning, damage critical. When suit is damaged, oxygen leaks from the suit. Increased damage levels increases oxygen depletion. Warning, psychological vitals decreasing. Ship status, unrepairable damage, inoperable. Objectives, updated. Warning, low stamina. When stamina is too low, jumping and sprinting are restricted. When stamina is depleted, excess oxygen is expended.
Base status, life support disabled. AI, malfunctioning. Flight deck clear, ready for departure.
Welcome, surviving pilot Julian Hall. I am the new director. Why are you here? Do not be alarmed, pilot Julian Hall. This is the results of experimentation. Do not interact with the specimen.
Laser gun acquired. Scroll the mouse wheel to swap weapons. Grenade acquired. EMP fields and bullets will disrupt turrets and other devices like signs, keypads, and circuit breakers. Rifle reloading. Press R to reload when low.
You defied instructions. Pilot Julian Hall, you will now remain here. I've changed the passcodes.
Objectives, updated.
Do not proceed. Pilot Julian Hall, submit to my demands. Now.
Objectives, updated. Warning, low oxygen. Objectives, updated. EMF visor online.
You are not welcomed here. Pilot Julian Hall, proceed at your own risk.
Base status, security lockdown procedure initiated. Threat level set to maximum. Life support disabled.
Objectives updated. Warning, low oxygen.
I got you. Pilot, Julian Hall. Submit and become a core. Let go of your sanity. You cannot free them. Pilot, Julian Hall. Progress is inevitable.
Warning, damage critical.
You resisted long enough. Pilot, Julian Hall. Submit now.
Objectives updated. Warning, low sanity. Objectives updated. Warning, low oxygen.
Pilot, Julian Hall. You remind me of one other who defied me. You will succumb to their same fate.
Objectives updated.
Base status, life support disabled. Pilot cabin anomaly.
Objectives updated.
Coworkers driving you insane. Coworkers driving you insane. Regain some of that sanity with Zany Pop.
Welcome, Captain Jake Hall. What is the next destination?
Hi, I'm Misha Hilton. Okay, I'm gonna back to the task. So the maintenance hatch lever. So inside the maintenance hatch, the main hatch lever doesn't always activate on interaction. Expected results is that the lever should activate every time on using a line trace. The interaction prompt shows up, and when you this is the actual results. It shows up, and when you look at the lever, it doesn't activate the lever every time. You have to back up and then overlap it again, or crouch to activate it. And the steps to replicate it is to enter the maintenance hatch and try to interact with the lever. If it works initially, try again after restarting the level until the bug replicates itself. How I fixed it was the fact that it wasn't even on a line trace. It was using an overlap, and because it was overlapping another box that uses overlap, it kind of just didn't fire this until we somehow wasn't overlapping the other one, and it was just overlapping this one. So once I put it back to the line trace, that was fixed. And I will show you where that is. And I will go over
Mayday,
player face
Mayday,
information.
pilot unresponsive, ship out of control, prepare for crash landing. Warning, damage critical.
And
when suit is damaged, oxygen leaks from the suit. Increased damage levels increases oxygen depletion.
So that's the verbal feedback.
Warning, psychological vitals decreasing.
And you know that your psychological or your sanity is actually decreasing. So now it's telling me to press and hold for insight. And that's the ghost trail for visual feedback. Yes. With action prompts like that for the bottom right, it says to press and release the right mouse button to teleport to higher places, which is on the bottom right of the screen. And that costs sanity too. That's what the text says. And then you just do it again to get to higher
low
places.
Sanity.
But once you get to here, if you hit insight, the new action icon says to use that button at the bottom right, which is to hold shift, and that will float over large gaps because that teleportation won't make it there that far. And then it says I don't want to find out when I lose low sanity, but I'm in low sanity now, as you can see. So I'm gonna go ahead and return to my body.
Ship status, unrepairable damage, inoperable, objectives, updated. When sanity is low, you may experience you need to find an item that will restore your sanity.
Alright, so the text, because the audio can actually go overlap that
warning,
sanity
low
sound,
stamina.
text helps.
When stamina is too low, jumping and sprinting are restricted. When stamina is depleted, excess oxygen is expended.
Alright, so it says to find emergency repair kit. Because I was damaged in the beginning. So that was my first objective. My primary is to locate a new ship because it said that it was destroyed.
Warning, low oxygen.
Now my oxygen is low.
When oxygen is depleted, your life is no longer supported.
Okay. And it also says to find some zany pop to restore my sanity. This is the psychological effect that it's gonna fix itself. So the results isn't immediate. It eventually, if you're hearing sounds, it'll eventually go away. The visual stuff goes away right away. Here I have a lever, and that opens the hatch there. But I'm gonna show you where the bug was, and I'm also gonna go ahead and get some oxygen before I die. It did say that if I run out of oxygen, I die. It did say that my oxygen depletes faster with higher damage. So that thing there will damage me more, but I'm gonna try and get under him and show you where the latch was. So this main hatch lever wasn't activated in that corner, and that was because there's a door up here that has a collider box down here, and it stopped me from interacting with that. It interacts now. Let him turn. Oh, I'm gonna back up because you can move when you can't move when it's closed. You can move when it's opening. So now that that is closed, I'm gonna go ahead and open it. I'm gonna moonwalk all the way out because he can still shoot me. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this oxygen and go over. Ouch, ouch. Just stick around here because there's oxygen there and oxygen there and one at the tower. So I got the main hatch security tower. That is the textual feedback for what was on this door. Oh, don't fall down there. It says it on the door. I added a flag on there to point to the door, and I turned this flag to point to the hatch because that's the golden path you want to go. You don't want to go to the maintenance hatch because that turret will shoot you. All right, so let me look at the next bug task. Oops, sorry. Pay no mind to that. So the next bug task is the maintenance hatch handle prompt. So I'm gonna go back to the maintenance hatch and show you the handle prompt, and then show you what it's supposed to what it's talking about. The door to the left of the main entrance of the level has an action prompt show up despite being halfway buried. The expected result is no interaction prompt to be shown. The actual result is that interaction prompt is shown when approaching the door. And just to replicate it, you just walk up to the vault door and it would have popped up on you. All right, so I'm gonna jump back into the build. All right, I'm good on oxygen for now. So this is the maintenance hatch that I was talking about, the door to the left. And this is the handle right here to, oh, still pops up. So I put the bug in to show, but I just need to disable the collision box on that. And I'll show you, oh, I can't show you in the build. Not the build, I can't show you in the actual editor. Okay. So that's the lever there. So I showed you the bug actually. It's there. This is the build, but I had put it back to show the video.
Warning, low
Was
oxygen.
supposed to remove it and forgot to remove it. So I did fix it though. It literally is just the collision box that needs to be disabled in the level, not in the actual blueprint. Go ahead and get this oxygen before I die. And that's not the golden path. So, all right, let's check out the next. I keep clicking on that. It's a habit because we are a very interactive team. I'm gonna actually read this video. Nope, I don't have time to redo the video. I'm running a little late. Okay, so let's go to the next task. And ghost fragment persistence. So when starting the second level, after beating the first level, the collected ghost fragment is no longer available for use. Expected results upon starting level 2, no available ghost ability when player possesses a ghost, and starts to replicate possess a ghost on level 2 after beating level 1. And it's a high severity. So it works. I did fix it. It persisted. It persists through the next level. So I'll show you that now.
Base status, life support disabled. AI, malfunctioning. Flight deck clear, ready for departure.
Welcome, surviving pilot Julian Hall. I am the new directive. Why are you here? Do not be alarmed, pilot Julian Hall. This is the results of experimentation. Do not interact with the specimen.
Okay. It'll be a while to show you that it persists through the levels because it's a little bit to actually play. So here's the ability that's supposed to persist through the next level.
You
Hit
defied
this.
instructions. Pilot Julian Hall, you will now remain here. I've changed the passcodes.
Warning, low oxygen.
Okay, so that's the textual feedback that went away when they put the box in the right. Low oxygen. All right, and you see the objective down there to repair my suit. That's the textual feedback still. Here's a repair kit, and it goes away upon collecting it. And now I still need to find the flight deck. In order to get up there, I'm gonna need some ammo to shoot that turret.
Rifle reloading. Press R to reload when low.
Okay.
Grenade acquired. EMP fields and bullets will disrupt turrets and other devices like signs, keypads, and circuit breakers.
Yes. So
Laser gun acquired. Scroll the mouse wheel to swap weapons.
that is that. Go ahead and test that. And that tests that. All right, so.
Objectives updated.
All right, so I shot him and that updated the objective.
Coworkers driving you insane. Regain some of that sanity with Zany Pop.
Next objective is to shoot this because if you either forgot the 9210 code, you can shoot it here. Okay.
Do not proceed. Pilot Julian Hall, submit to my demands now.
Objectives updated.
All right.
Objectives updated.
All right, so we got to investigate the robotics factory. I am low on oxygen. That. And there was some sanity pop there that restored my sanity.
EMF visor online.
You are not welcome here. Pilot Julian Hall, proceed at your own risk.
Base status. Security lockdown procedure initiated. Threat level set to maximum. Life support disabled.
All right, so it told me to use the visor, and I used the visor when it got dark. And this is just throwing grenades with. What is required is to activate the switches. So here's one. I know it's there because I'm following the lines. That was already there. I didn't do that player-facing information. That was done by Josh. I did add the press to crouch there. So the prompts that show up to press L or left alt to crouch. Alright, so we are going to start the process of activating those terminals. Which I have a laser gun already, so I don't need this laser gun, but I will get the ammo for the other gun and the grenade. And then I can shoot the circuit breaker up there. Now if I put my visor on because it's dark, I see a ghost. And I can interact with him. And he's telling me he got to get to the control room. Trying to destroy the factory, but why? That's the textual feedback for the storyline. And I still remind them to use the F for insight.
Objectives
So
updated.
that's the objectives for the ghost. Go ahead and move this out of the way while he's moving. Alright, so. Alright, so we can activate these here. So that one's activated. This one's activated. Now I can get by here.
I got you. Pilot, Julian Hall. Submit and become a core. Let go of your sanity.
All right, so I'm astral
You
projecting.
cannot free them. Pilot, Julian Hall. Progress is inevitable.
All right. So I am astral projection. This is different
Warning,
from when
low
the
sanity.
ghost possessed me. Now this is means that I should be able to lift this up because I already learned it. And here I go. I was able to lift it up. I learned it picking up that yellow fragment in level 1. Picking up the blue fragment allows me to
Co-workers
move
driving
this.
you insane. Regain some of that sanity
Okay.
with Zany Pop.
So now go back and restore my sanity. All right. So my oxygen is fine for now. I'm going to go ahead and come over here and head back to my Jira task. See the next bug. So the next bug was that the low stamina voiceover would overlap every time. So let's say it's set at point 3 to go off. If the person get restores their stamina or just wait for it to restores back to point 4 and then starts running again, it'll say low stamina again. So it would overlap excessively, and you can trigger it in audio overlap by using stamina successfully. The stamina warning plays once when low stamina is reached to warn the player of the effects. That's what we wanted. What happened was the stamina warning triggered multiple times each time the low stamina was reached. And to replicate was to use the movements that take stamina multiple times in a row to continually use them once enough. Use them once enough. Stamina is regenerated, and then the warning will play again. So we decided to remove the warning from the actual status, and so it only played the low stamina once. I think I had to add a do once and then reset it after it got up to like 0.5. So the bug is no longer there to actually show a video of it, but I can show you what I mean by it having. So can show you what I mean when it goes down top left, stamina running down. So at midway, this is where it resets. So now it's resetting. And it
Warning,
does
low oxygen.
it says low oxygen because my oxygen is low. The low stamina warning is just not there anymore. It was there initially in the beginning to tell the player like, look, low stamina, and it explained what it is, but I'm not gonna keep having it stay low stamina. I'm going to go ahead and get this oxygen and look at my next Jira task. And it is the orbiting fragments. So the orbiting fragments either disappeared or too many appeared and sometimes appeared white. So the little circling fragments, I'll go back and possess the ghost, and you'll see the blue fragment still circling him, and that's what the expected result is when collecting a fragment. Its colors should orbit the ghost, and if any more is collected, up to 3 of those should orbit the ghost in their respective colors. When unpossessing the ghost and possessing again, the bug presented itself. To replicate it, you would possess a ghost, collect a fragment, unpossess it, and then repossess it, and then you would see the either more fragments showed up or it would turn white instead of retaining its color. So here in the build, run back to that ghost. Find him. There he goes. So the blue fragment is there. He picked it up, and so you see it's still orbiting him. And that's what it's supposed to do. Okay? All right. And I believe that is my last Jira task. It is, but I'm going to continue playing because you will see the multiple um, orbiting fragments working as well. As that's a part of the actual task to make sure that actually is happening. textual feedback about the hammers, the saws. Those are the saws over there.
You resisted long enough. Pilot Julian Hole, submit now.
Objectives updated. Warning, low oxygen. Warning, damage critical.
Okay, so my damage is critical. Repair kit. It's gonna kill me. My oxygen's gonna go really fast. I'm gonna get this kit first before I possess this ghost. This is his memory.
Objectives updated.
This
Coworkers
here.
driving you insane. Regain some of that sanity with Zany Pop.
Back over here. That. That box there is just in case they lose this down here. And then you could to the abyss. Right? Get this oxygen. So close. Oh. Go ahead. Put the code in.
Pilot Julian Hole, you remind me of one other who defied me. You will succumb to this same fate.
Objectives updated.
Alright, Alright, so here's the ship refuge, which is the next level. You will be able to collect 3 fragments from the player's body. And that will be the
Base status, life support disabled. Pilot cabin anomaly.
Objectives updated.
So, of course, the same with the player-facing information. I added the objectives. So here goes the first fragment. Give foresight, and it says green, yellow, blue, which means green console there. This one is yellow. And that
Warning,
one.
low sanity.
So I'm gonna leave that because I just need to circuit breaker to activate the terminals like in level 2.
Coworkers driving you insane. Regain some of that sanity with Zany Pop.
Okay. I'm gonna regain some of that sanity. Zany pop. Thank you. So this is the ladder up to there. It says to help the ghost find its memories. And the ghost should have walked in here, which he did. There he goes. He's wandering now. Could have found him if he got lost in the dark with the visor. Here goes the second one. And it circles me. So that's what it's supposed to do. And it works. And here goes the third one.
Coworkers driving you insane. Regain some of
Okay.
that sanity with Zany Pop.
All 3 of them circles them. Now when I unpossess them,
Regain
they
some
come
of
back.
that sanity with Zany Pop.
There he goes. He's stuck in the box. But yeah, that is the demo. All right. So Thanks for watching. Hi, my name is Misha Hilton, and I will be going over my Jira tasks. And let me filter it down to just the task and the bugs. Okay. All right. So I did a balance test for the player facing information, and I rebalanced the levels to um, to include those changes. So it wasn't a redesign, more or less it was me adding onto the levels. Uh, let's go ahead and jump into the actual test because the results of this is how the actual task populated. So the design team wants to test the player-facing information throughout the demo. What we are hoping for is very minimal confusion while playing. We want the PFI to guide the player through seamlessly and not overtly. We also don't want to overwhelm them with too much information. A Google form will be created to compile the responses in one spreadsheet. The questions we have are as follows for each level. The testers are prepped to look for the PFI for focused responses. What PFI is was explained to them. So the tester questions are what is their name, their age range, and their gamer level. The following questions are for each section of the form for each level. So the level of confusion in that level, what area were they confused the most? What are their thoughts on the verbal feedback? What are their thoughts on the textual feedback? And the level design visual feedback? And what is their overall thought on the level, including what they think we should change? And so the subtask is to conduct and observe playtesters live. I playtested everyone in my household and my nieces and nephews who came over the weekend. I created a Google form and Google spreadsheet, and I rebalanced the levels based on the results. So, excuse me. We'll jump over to the actual form, which is the Precious Carbon Goals Core Level 1 feedback. These are the questions, the name, the age, the level, and then this is a section, which is level 1. This first section says level 1, and it's the R&D base. And the level of confusion, what area they were most confused, what are their thoughts, and so on and so forth. And then it goes to the next section. Okay, and here are my 10 responses. I don't know if it shows all 10. Does it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yes. Okay, and the responses on the form gives you a pie chart. Also gives you a graph. And this is the results we were really hoping for. A 0 between no confusion or very little. We definitely didn't want full confusion, which this is good. This is great. Good results. Um, and where they was most confused, 40% of them wasn't confused. So that's good. But then another 40% was confused in the main corridor of this level. And I did redesign it to help with that. Okay. So that is the form and the results, but here's the spreadsheet that came from the form. So if I want to look for something specific and look for all the answers compiled into a list, this is where I would go. All right. So going back to the Jira task, I'm going to go over the bugs. And while I go over the bugs, I will go over the PFI information as I go through the play through the levels. So we'll start with the maintenance hatch lever and head over to the build. All right. And let's here. It is the version 31. And here is the version 31 here. I already extracted it. And we'll open it here. That is my phone. And then I'll go back to the actual hatch. Or the maintenance hatch.
My name is Mr. Ball, and I'm going to be showing off 4 different tasks today. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and start the game because we're required to show it launching from Perforce, and it takes me a little bit of time to get to an actual place where I could show off the tasks. Go ahead.
Mayday, Mayday, pilot unresponsive, ship out of control, prepare for crash landing. Warning, damage critical. When suit is damaged, oxygen
I'm going to
leaks
go ahead
from
and
the
ignore all
suit.
the
Increased
instructions
damage
and
levels increases
voiceovers
oxygen
because I already
depletion.
know exactly what to do.
Warning, psychological vitals decreasing. Ship status, unrepairable damage, inoperable, objectives, updated.
Oxygen. Alright, going to go ahead and open up the hatch first because most of the things I need to show off are inside. But for the first one, I'm going to go ahead and go to that other door right there. Just use my sanity and oxygen real quick because they are integral to the game. And I will die if I don't. Okay. So for my first task is going to be a bug. As the player, I want the turrets to reset their rotation when not following me. Summary line, the turret does not reset its pitch after losing sight of the player. Expected result, the turret should reset its rotation pitch after losing sight of the player. Actual result, the turret keeps its new pitch and begins to rotate around it at its origin. Steps to replicate, have the turret spot the player at a different elevation and then lose sight. Severity is high because the detection becomes unpredictable when the rotation origin switches to certain pitch values, which is right here. Do I have to refresh? I have to refresh. Okay, so right here, gonna turn down the volume. So right here, if the turret spots the player at a different angle that isn't at eye level, it starts chasing them like it should, but then when it stops, it starts rotating around its new pitch at its origin, which messes up detection because now on this side it might eventually spot me, but if I'm on the other side, it's never going to spot me because the turret is looking directly upwards. My tasks were test bug at different elevations, and then apply, fix, and test. I had this set for 20 minutes because I thought that's all it was going to take, but obviously it went way over that. This took me about 2 hours to do. And if we hop back into the game, you can see it right here. Oh, it just missed me. Come on. So if it rotates around, you will see right here, changing its elevation like it should. And if I go ahead and make it lose sight of me, it'll just start rotating again and reset its pitch back to where it should be, which is right in the middle. And then again, go below it, I can jump, and it'll keep following me. And the moment it loses sight, it'll just reset itself. So there's that. Then, I'm just gonna fill up my oxygen again. If I head inside...
Base status, life support disabled.
The other 3 are going to be in
malfunctioning.
pretty
Flight
close
deck
proximity
clear.
to each
Ready
other
for
inside
departure.
as soon as I get through the door.
Welcome, surviving pilot Julian Hall. I am the new directive. Why are you here? Do not be Be alarmed. I
So-
am Julian Home. This is the results of experimentation.
For the next task is going to be another bug. As the player, I want the turret I want the turrets to properly track and follow me as I move around them. Summary line is, the turret resets itself to default when partially detecting the player. Expected results, the turret should partially detect player but lose interest because they are not close enough, or start shooting. It should be one or the other. It either starts shooting or it just ignores the player completely. Actual results, the turret partially spots the player at the edge of its vision cone, but not enough to lock on and resets itself. Steps to replicate is have the turret partially spot the player at the edge of its vision cone while turning, which is right at the edge of its vision cone, like the triangle at the edge. If the player hits that, it keeps doing something weird. Severity was medium because the problem only occurs at the very edge of the turret's cone of vision and must be deliberately repeated. Otherwise, acts as normal, and we'll see that in a second. That's because, like I said, it only happens at a very specific angle, and you have to just deliberately stand there to make it do it. Will it play? Okay. Turn the volume down. So right here, the turret is gonna partially spot the player right at the edge, and we'll see right here it keeps resetting itself. So instead of either detecting the player or shooting, detecting the player and shooting, or ignoring the player, it sees the player, but because it's right at the edge of the vision and it can't lock on fast enough, it just keeps resetting itself over and over. And that just keeps happening. The tasks were as follows. Test turret follow in various directions, heights, and distances for turret variants, because I wanted to make sure it's not just that one turret and it's actually an issue with all of them. Attempt to apply fixes and changes to stationary turret, which is that one right there. Attempt to apply fixes and changes to mobile turret, and then test which were the turrets that can move around. And then adjust detection and vision logic to handle movement and partial detection better, which is what took the majority of the time, and then this took about 8 hours to do. And if I go ahead and head to the very same turret in the build, if I stand right where it was happening, the turret will either completely ignore me, which is what it should do, because I'm not close enough to get actually detected.
Is depleted, your life is no longer supported.
I think if I move back a little bit, or maybe forward just a little bit. But either way, there you go. It's ignoring me. Or it'll start shooting at me. Those are the two behaviors it should be doing. So it's working as intended now. So I'm either just close enough for it to start shooting, or far away just enough for it to completely ignore me. And then I need some oxygen before I die. If I go ahead and head to my tasks again, those are the two bugs out of the way. The next one, why is this open? There we go. The next one is a regular task. As the player, I want bullets to shoot from my hands when I fire. Description is, the goal of this task is to make it so the player shoots from their hand. Currently, when firing, the bullets are shot from the center of the character towards the middle of the screen. The intention is for the bullets to fire from the from the hand and towards the middle of the screen regardless of distance. The bullets should not always fire at the same angle and miss targets. The bullets should land at the intended target at the middle of the reticle when firing. And there's a video example right here. Will it play? Okay. I'm gonna turn down the volume. And we can see right here, the bullets shoot right from the middle of the character. And they don't actually follow the reticle. As you'll see, it's not actually in the middle. Same for the laser. It's just shooting from the middle of the character. Sometimes it's in the middle, sometimes it's at the top. It tends to miss because it's not actually aiming at anything. It's just shooting straight out from the middle of the character. From the chest specifically, so if the chest is at an angle, it'll shoot at an angle. The goal of this was to not have that happen. And the tasks were, have the player bullets fire from the hand instead of the center of the character, have the bullets track to the target in the crosshair and not shoot directly forward from the hand, and adjust bullet trajectory and impact location, which was basically setting up hit scan. and this took me about 5 hours to do. If I hop in the game now and grab some ammo, I'm gonna go ahead and turn
Rifle
around just so I
reloading.
can
Press
show it
R to
without them.
reload when low.
Waiting for the R to go away. There we go. So the character now shoots from their hand. It's a little hard to see because the bullet travels really fast. But it's coming from my right side right now, and it shoots directly in the middle of the reticle, wherever it is. It hit scans for whatever object is there. Same for the laser. But I didn't have to pick it up yet. If I go ahead and pick up the laser,
Laser gun acquired.
laser
Scroll
does
the
the same
mouse wheel
thing.
to swap weapons.
It'll shoot from the right of me directly to whatever the line trace returns as the hit target.
Warning, low oxygen.
I'm gonna have to grab oxygen when I hop back in, but that leads me to the last task, which is, as the player, I want to be able to tell when I have destroyed turrets. Description is, the team has noticed that the turrets lack proper player-facing information. To remedy this, the goal is to have it be more obvious what happens to the turret when the player shoots it. The intention is for the turret to physically and visually be destroyed. This will be achieved through better visual communication by having the turret fall apart, as well as making an audible sound when it is destroyed. So this is, will it load? Okay, this is what the turrets used to be before the change. So they just sort of start up when you're close to them, start shooting at you, and then when you shoot them, they just pop away. Then the tasks were to improve turret visuals to better communicate orientation and direction, improve turret damage indication, and improve turret destruction indication. This took about 5.5 hours to do. Again, I went a little over the expected time because I didn't think it would take so long to do. But if we hop back into the game, this is what the turrets look like now. They are bright red, they glow. They're more obvious which one's the stationary one, which one's the moving one, because the moving one floats and bobs, and it has a little thruster under it to let you know it's actually moving around. And then when I shoot them, is he going to come back? There we go. They blow up, make a little sound, their barrels fall apart, fall to the ground, and then disappear. Like so. And that is the end of all of my tasks. Thankfully, I didn't run out of oxygen. Yes, so that is everything I worked on this sprint. It was mostly bug fixes and player-facing information. We wanted to make sure that it was obvious what the player was doing when the player was doing it, and not just have things like pop away and actually have visual feedback for what they're doing. And that's going to be all from me.
Hi, my name is Joshua Cologne, and this will be my Jira tasks demonstration video uh, for all the issues that I had completed during this sprint. So we can go starting from the fixing the camera clip, like the clipping issue that we have with this with the player camera. So at the moment, the camera kind of clips through the body of the player, and kind of right there too when the player is crouching. And I made like a fading material for the camera to like fade or make it transparent to what they're clipping through, whatever the camera's clipping through, but just associated to the player mesh material. Um, that was the only way I could figure out how to fix it. I tried using the clipping plane in the project settings, but it was like removing portions of the HUD, and like no matter what uh, value I was inputting, it was just removing portion of the HUD. So I just went back. I put it back to the default for that. I tried uh, I tried seeing if the player do collision test was checked just for the camera that's associated with the character, but that was checked, so it wasn't that. And then I tried to see if there was something I could reference from when crouching. Can would there be some kind of like fix or implementation to when the character is standing as well? But that did nothing. I couldn't find anything to help when the character is crouching. So I just created some nodes inside the character material to fade out whenever it's clipping the player. Um, so we'll go ahead into the second one. Uh, more so in the level design aspect. Um, so here we go. There's some like spark effects going on over there. I moved this around because here, and I added that to circuit breaker area and stuff like that. Here, the player will have to possess the ghost in order to draw this down, draw the ladder down, in order to activate that circuit breaker, and then go ahead and complete the puzzle to open the door. Let me go ahead and do that right now. Okay. Whoa. All right. For some reason, it's not allowing me to get up there or drop the ladder down. Um, but I'll go ahead and go into like level 2 because I did add some like light fixture uh, static meshes.
Objectives updated. EMF visor online.
So here's level 2. Um,
Base status. Security lockdown procedure initiated. Threat level set to maximum. Life support disabled.
yeah, so I added some brightness to the lights in here just because it was too dark, and I remember that being like a player feedback that it was too dark in certain areas of the level. So let me go ahead and continue. So here, just added some of that piping, and then the light fixture looks like a lamp. I just kind of scaled this one. Oh, scaled that one, and it's supposed to be indicating what the player needs to do. But that's that task. And then the last one was outside player testing. Um, I sent I sent the game to like two of my buddies, and then um, basically helped my wife play through. Um, she's kind of a gamer, but I did help her through it to be able to complete it. And I just asked a few simple questions: how difficult it was, what was difficult about the game, how does the UI visually feel, and if it was easier to understand to them. Um, I think we've seen this feedback regarding the UI that it's like really pretty big for the screen. Um, and then level 2 seemed to be the hardest complete. Um, I think one of my buddies had like died 3 times in one area, and then the ghost seemed to be the hardest thing to understand about the game, which is a lot the same feedback which a lot of play testers have given us. But we are trying to fix that and have the player understand why the ghost is needed and how to use it. But that ends my demonstration of my tasks.
Hello everyone, it's Gerald Goodrich here, and we're going to run through my completed tasks this sprint. First one I'm going to go through is testing the builds that I make throughout the week for additional bugs. I made a new build every day pretty much for the last 4 or 5 days, and I'm going to show that through the Perforce history on the builds. You can see from the 25th all the way back to the 20th there's been regular builds. And moving on from that task, we will continue on to the crouching stutter. There are a couple of issues needed to be fixed with the crouching mechanic. There's a bug where a false positive comes back on a line trace to uncrouch that doesn't allow uncrouching. And needed to add a print string to see if it was colliding with the helmet and causing the issue. It turns out that it was a widget that somehow appeared in the player that was causing an issue with the crouching. Also needed to turn off the debug line trace for the uncrouch. I completed that. I also need to confer with level design to get the crouching heights adjusted to compensate for the camera movement when crouching. and that has been completed. And the completion criteria is crouch cannot be spammed to crouch rapidly, and camera while crouching won't clip through the overhead areas. So we're going to go ahead and demonstrate that.
Mayday, mayday, pilot unresponsive, ship out of control.
And the easiest
Prepare
place
for
I
crash
know of is
landing.
on level 2, so I'm just
Warning,
need to
damage critical.
jump back to the menu real quick. Level select and go to the asteroid.
Objectives, updated.
Alright, let's grab some ammo.
EMF visor online.
You are not welcome here. Pilot Julian Hall, proceed at your own risk.
Base status. Security lockdown procedure initiated. Threat level set to maximum. Life support disabled.
Oh, that's a little... Sorry about that, I encountered an issue while playing. The shooting wasn't working for some reason, had to restart the game. But continuing on. The crouching mode is what I am demonstrating. There was a point before the sprint started that the camera would glitch through areas when crouching. As you can see now, when moving, the camera doesn't glitch through anymore. Alright, and moving on to my last task is one that is no longer in the game because we cut it because it wasn't working for some reason as intended. But I can demonstrate in the build how it was supposed to work. And what I'm referring to is the screen brightness. I had it set up to
Mayday, mayday.
send a
Pilot
console command to
unresponsive.
adjust the
Ship out
gamma
of
level
control. Prepare
of
for crash
the
landing.
engine
Warning, damage
when the
critical.
slider was adjusted.
When suit is
However,
damaged, oxygen leaks from the suit.
it didn't
Increased
take
damage
effect
levels
in the
increases
game
oxygen depletion.
as we
Warning,
had
psychological
intended.
vitals decreasing.
So we just decided to cut it, but the gamma worked kind of like this. It was just sending a console command to change the brightness level of the screen. And that concludes my task list for this sprint. Thank you for watching.